Are you tired of being overcharged and forced into paying a monthly subscription for your Mac and Windows software? Well, if you are, currently we're having a 50% off discount on all the latest Mac and Windows software, such as AutoCAD, SolidWorks, Photoshop, Microsoft Office, and much more. Our 50% off discount will be ending soon.
So be sure to text Ready to Buy, that's Ready to Buy, to the number on the screen. Starting pricing for low-end software, $100. And starting pricing for high-end software, $500.
We aim to please, so expect 24/7 technical support, the latest premium software, instant software links delivered to your email, and PayPal's buyer's protection guarantee.
Now, you got to understand, like, pretty much, you know, I was a big influence of why we even rhymed about 5% stuff. Okay.
I always perceived you as the most militant member of the group.
Exactly. So, at one point, I didn't even hang with 85s. Okay. So these are black people who are not within the 5% nation. Like, we would be, oh, you hang with 85s? Like, you know what I mean?
Yo.
So
that's fucking wild.
So now I'm already discriminatory against my own people. So you can imagine when a young white dude, you know, who seems to know about hip hop and all of that, but first of all, I didn't believe in my heart at that time that white people should have any involvement in the creation process of hip hop other than engineering. Or you know what I mean? Like the engineer, that was cool. But in my mind, it was almost unfathomable that you were even trying to make beats, right?
I love it.
Like, wait a minute. Because I never even imagined that white dudes was making beats, and besides, like, maybe Rick Rubin or somebody like that, you know what I mean?
Right.
Which I knew
he was. I mean, he was the one guy, right?
Right. He was the one guy, but he was like an anomaly or some shit like that.
Right.
So all right, you're making beats, you got your beat crew and all this. They're almost taking advantage of your position as the A&R.
And I think you're right a little bit. I think in retrospect, there was I don't want to say it was like calculated.
It was self-nepotism.
Right. It was definitely ego driven. And I don't know. So the only thing I'll say about that is, not the only thing, but I'll say that Max would drive me crazy if he took a beat of mine. So it wasn't like he ever felt he had to work with me, but I think it was a little bit like a layup, right? It's maybe not exactly even playing field. I don't disagree with that.
So now finally, the final component, right, is that when we heard the first version of Wake Up, I loved what Puba was saying on it so much. Me and Sincere loved it so much, but I hated the beat.
Wow.
I felt like the beat didn't feel the way the lyrics felt. It just felt too like happy, almost like you know what I mean? Like, I get
it because he's breaking down fucking the lessons, right?
Exactly.
He's dropping serious science on that record.
And I knew this was going to be a fucking anthem type of record, the way he was breaking it down.
Yeah.
And I said, over my dead body, over my dead body, am I going to let these dudes have the anthem, the beat to the anthem of the nation of gods and earth? That doesn't even make sense.
And you know what? I agree with you.
That would almost take away from our authenticity. They'd be like, oh yeah, but you let them fucking do the beat.
Right.
Like,
right, you had a devil do the beat, so I get it. I mean, I
But
get it.
now, it was me and Sincere that were on like, nah, we got to find something better. Like and we went on a fucking beat search. And I believe it was Sincere that found the Ray Goodman and Brown.
Oh, wow, really?
Sincere found the Ray Goodman and Brown, but I'm the one that realized how well it went because we're playing it, and every beat that's coming, because I knew the song so well because I loved the lyrics, you know what I mean? So I'm just like, attribute, how'd you go? You know, I'm saying the shit, and then when I'm saying, I'm like, hang on to this one, this shit sound crazy. There was no sunshine or nothing like that. So
did
now
Max put sunshine in there?
And then put the sunshine shit in there later. We had just brought the Ray Goodman and Brown to the
Another day
he was
joint.
like, yo, listen to this. Like, I'm telling you, this is better than the other version. Like, you know.
How did Max feel about it? What was Max saying?
Once he heard, he was like, yo, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was like, yo. And that's when niggas just took it. And then the next time I heard it, he's like, yo, check this out. Then the next time I hear it, the shit got the sunshine. Now niggas is falling on the floor type of shit. Like, and I'm like, thank you. I'm like, yo, we did it. We fucking, like, I knew it was a fucking classic. Like, I knew it. Like, I was like, mission accomplished.
Right.
We did it. And we're gonna fuck around, and if this is a single, then this is gonna be the version. But you still went ahead and made a video version with your fucking beat to it.
Really? But
yeah, there's one out there.
But you shot it. You shot it to.
I know, and and they changed the speed. That's how I was like, this motherfucker Dante. I said
changed it. How did I change the tempo? I don't know how to do that in the video.
Yo, they must have time stretched it or some shit back then. They must have put it through the 950. I don't know what the fuck, but there's a video version.
But your video is the version that went to MTV, correct?
Yes. And your shit popped up later. Like, I don't know.
Wild.
Yeah.
I don't even know how they do that. So I'm sure I had something to do
with
it.
You didn't know about that?
No, I'm sure I did know about it at the time. And here's where selective memory comes in. I don't remember it today. And I probably did do it like, I'm gonna sync it to my video.
Right.
I will say that if things are the same tempo, I've done that.
It wasn't the same tempo though. It wasn't.
So how the fuck did they?
Because if you think about it, the shit is
are the lyrics off?
I don't think so. I don't remember. I would have to see. Like,
is it on YouTube? Because I gotta go find it.
It probably is on YouTube. You just gotta find it and shit.
That's wild.
Check it out.
Because I know we did that with Slow Down, right? We or All for One. There's a clean version with the other sample, and then there's the dirty version. Like they're the same tempo though.
So I feel like after that.
So you guys hated me then?
No. But I feel like after that, you kind of like stepped out the way. Like, you know what I mean? You was like, you know what? Let me just let them kind of like do what they do. Like, and I don't remember like really any like interference in my mind after that point.
I think
what beats did you do on the album?
I just did Step to the Rear is the only other one I did.
Now, see, Step to the Rear
is a Puba solo song.
But hold up, but I love Step to the Rear. That's when they told me that you did Step to the Rear. I said, they did Step to the Rear? And that's when I was like, wow, okay. Like, I guess white boys could do fucking beats. So yeah, clap up for that. I guess white boys could do beats.
You know it's funny.
Let's not get crazy.
So we were doing another beat for Max, and he came to the studio. Remember how long it took to track a beat out back in the day? Like, you're tracking a beat on a 2-inch. It could take 3 hours, right? Like, God damn, locking up your fucking, the SP12 and blah, blah, blah. It's fucking take forever. So we had tracked out another beat. It was a Wild Magnolia sample, Hand of Wanda, I think, chopped up. It was cool, but it was like fast kind of. And Puba came in and he was like an hour late, and he was like, yo, he sat there for like 15 minutes. He was like, yo, I can't fuck with it. I was like, I hate you. We didn't know we didn't know what we were gonna do, right? So my partner just pulled out the disc for Step to the Rear, the sample, and he put in the S900. My partner Gibi, and Puba loved it. We just put the little kick and snare in it and a little piano part. That was basically it. It's a very simple song. But what's funny is, so the guy who did that record he's actually Egyptian, so he wasn't technically a white guy. So so there you go.
Wait,
The original.
Gibi was Egyptian?
Yeah, he's Egyptian. He's Egyptian and Irish. He's born in Egypt, so he was and he has an Egyptian last name, Johnny. So he's actually part Egyptian and very proud of it. He's actually Egyptian Palestinian, to be exact.
Right, but he hung out with the white boy crew though.
Oh yeah, he grew up with white guys.
Yeah, he hung out with the.
He was hanging out with white
type crew.
100%. He was like the OG to us back then. So yeah. But he grew up in Spanish Harlem and moved downtown. So he was a little different, just because that. So there was part Original Man's fingers in that song. So
well, I definitely enjoyed and appreciated Step to the Rear, and I was not mad at it, other than, why is he doing this on some solo shit at the time? You know what I mean? Like,
that was the craziest thing about Max, right? In the middle of the record, he just does 3 solo records. Like he's like, oh yeah, this one and this one and this one. And I'm like, what the hell is good? Look, I had no illusions. I just didn't think it was going to last because he's going left in like very early on, right? It was definitely I could feel that there was emerging from the group kind of 2 different camps. There's like Puba and then there's you guys, and it felt fucking awkward. I got to be honest. And I was mad too because the record is so fucking good. I'm like, yo, like, what do we do? Like, it's fucking weird.
I mean, listen, I chalk it up to just growing. It's growing pains, man. See, Puba is a little bit older than us. We was the young boys. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then it's hard sometimes to look at your young boys and then like have to now equal out with them. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so we're expecting, okay, now I know you helped put us on, but we all signed this dotted line equally. We split our shit. So, we equals now. But and then you have this alpha male thing going on with me and Puba. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where, so it's that type of shit going on. And that just happens in nature naturally. Like, you know what I mean? Like big brother, little brother, fucking, and
it's very, I think it's very hard with 2 alpha males in any group. Leaders was the same way.
Right. Charlie Brown and Busta Rhymes. I seen it. I've seen them
go head up a few times.
I've talked with both of them, like, you know what I mean? Like for hours and shit like that. Like with each one, like they just talking like, about the group and just all kind of,
It got very personal with those guys.
Yeah, it did. But that's just the shit that happens. But see, me now, fast forward, me and Puba is like, that's my brother. You know what I mean? Like, because we grew into a certain respect for each other and showed and prove. You got to show and prove and shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
one thing about the dynamic of Brand Nubian is like, you were always about your shit. Like, you're like, no one can say like you didn't show up for the meeting, right? Like you always were very involved and accountable. So I think that there was points in time when you were functioning completely responsibly and Puba wasn't. And I think that the balance of power became kind of weird. You know what I mean? Like Max is like, he's an egomaniac with low self-esteem, like many of us, myself included. So, he's like, I'm the greatest, but the greatest has to show up. You can't be the greatest if you're not showing up. And I think that was part of the quandary that existed. I always thought that Max should have stayed working in Brand Nubian and done a solo record. I always thought that should have happened. But in retrospect, your second record is fucking phenomenal. And I don't think you make that record if Puba's in the group. I think that record's not what it is.
Right. Exactly.
So everything
because
happens for a reason.
that was my vision at the time. Like
100%.
since you bring that up real quick, let me ask you. So you signed us because of Puba and all that
Right.
type of shit.
Right.
But now when Puba leaves the group, what makes you believe that me and Sadat can still go on as Brand Nubian and make music? Because it seems like, not to take nothing away, but like when Leaders broke up, it seemed like the only one that got an opportunity was Busta. And how come,
Right.
you know what I mean? Like, so what was different about the situation?
Well, I saw how you guys conducted yourself making the first record. You guys were focused. That's one. Two, I felt I owed it to you guys, to give you a shot. Like, it had fallen apart in an awkward way. I thought you guys were great on the first record, and I thought there was a lot of potential there. I didn't do it because I was like, look, no one does anything in the music business because they think it's like, oh, I owe it to this guy. Like, but it's gonna flop. Like, I didn't walk into it like that. That's not how it works. So I thought that you guys had a lot of potential, and I seen how focused you were. And the other thing was, I felt like, how can I say it? I always root for the underdogs. I always have, and I felt like you guys had a lot to prove. You were like, yo, you know what? Watch this. And I saw it in you. I can't explain it other than that. I just felt it, and I was like, you know what?
And that was the attitude, right? Like, watch 100%. This.
Yeah, you had your chest out, like, yo, I could do this. Fuck this. UNX, and right. I mean, Jesus Christ, Punks Jump Up is a fucking classic. I personally always, and this is weird, some people don't agree with me, but I personally like In God We Trust more than Real to Real. To me, it was iller. It was just an iller record to me. It was more conceptual. It just was to me a more thorough album thematically, and it had some incredible songs on Allah You Akbar, Love Him, Leave Him Alone. Obviously, Punks Jump Up. The whole shit, Steal Your Hoe was my shit. I just thought the shit was banging. Yeah, I thought the shit was popping. Pass the Gat, Travel Jam, all that. It was one of the albums I listened to the whole album. So, and I remember early on when we were assembling the album, I had like a rough version of it, and I played it for a couple of friends of mine, and they were like, "Yo, that shit is banging!" Like they were all like, "Yo, that shit is crazy." So, and I just seen the reaction from people who have nothing to. They're not gonna bullshit me, right? So there, and who was who used to always make me play the demos for him was Pete and CL, particularly CL. He would always come to my office, yo, let me hear that Brand Nubian shit. And he's like, yo, this shit is fucking Puba up. He will always say that. Just so you know, them dudes had a heated debate about what was better, Real to Real. Dio, Puba, Dio, CL, Pete, and I want to say Tracy Waples was all in my office debating the two albums one time. It was ill. It was really interesting. And look, the fact that debate existed shows you how great your album was, right? I mean, that's one of the things that record to me is like, I'm very proud of that record because there were people on the sidelines. You know how motherfuckers are. They want to talk shit and you guys addressed it even in the song in Punks Jump Up, right? I thought I was like,
genius with Sadat, how he started.
I mean, that record is great, and all the controversy that surrounded it.
I even did a wake up on that one though.
You did? Oh, that's right, you did. I forgot.
Well, as far
you did
as
a crazy one, because the other Diamond D one was going to be the version, and then you played the Punks version,
the album version.
That's right, you're right.
There was the album version of Punks, which I loved, which was crazy hard. But then we fucking at the video shoot for Diamond's shit, and then we chilling, and he's like, "Yo, I did a little remix, to the Punks Jump Up. You check it out." Like, and he played the shit, and like he had the shit falling, in my opinion, wrong. But it was dope as fuck. Like he had the sample. It wasn't starting from bing, bing, boom, boom. Like in his mind, like the one was like doom, doom, doom. Like I can't even explain it. And he did it again with the third remix. Remember, there's 3 versions to this shit.
Yeah.
But each time I had to fix the one, he was like, "Listen, Jay, I don't give a fuck. Like everybody hears music different. Wherever you hear the one, put it there." Like you know what I mean? So I changed the one.
I want to ask Diamond if he did that because De La had used the sample for Biddies in the BK Lounge, and they used it pretty much the same way.
I don't know. All I know is I was hearing the one how it is, like, you know what I mean? And
you know, it's
maybe
crazy.
he
I,
was
ha-
trying
I
to
had
sneak
that.
it.
I had that Lou Donaldson loop too, and I was like, and I didn't use it when Biddies came out. I was like, oh yeah, they used it. A year later, you use it, and I never remember.
I said, we need to use this for the video, man.
I remember that you guys came to my office and you were like, "Yo, this is the version," and I remember I was like, "That is the version." Like there was no, it wasn't an argument. It was like I was like, 100% right. And the Diamond version,
Crazy.
the other one, the Bronx style raw version is dope. But the one with the Lou Donaldson loop that's the classic. And that record, like literally, look, I've been in the club and I've seen people get punched in the face when that record comes on. It's like one of those records. It gives people just has that energy.
Now I like that you said I've been in the club and people punch in the face. Hold that thought real quick.